recorded by Paul Horn inside the dome of the Taj Mahal. And in fact, that's from the LP, which is called Inside. You're listening to the Monday programme on Sounds of the 70s. My name's Bob Harris. With me is Jon Anderson. Jon, really, there's, I think anyway, often quite a strong classical influence in the music of Yes. I mean, do you feel that yourselves?
Yeah. I think we try to be as much aware of other music other than rock and roll. Mm. I started listening to classical music about 5 years ago. It creeps in now and again in the early stages of the band, in Time and a Word.
Yeah.
Every day there's little clips from the New World Symphony here and there, or the Planet Suite, and which are popular classics. And after a time you start to delve into classical music, learning a lot more about classical music. And I finally arrived at Sibelius, who freaks me out completely. He really does.
Shall we play something?
Yeah, this is the third movement from the Fifth Symphony. He wrote 7, and a couple of operas and loads of other music. But this is, I think, the most beautiful music he ever made, for me.
Jon, actually, at this point, 2 things that I'd like to do. First of all, on behalf of everybody who sent me in letters after the Rainbow concert film on Whistle Test, thanks for that, because the response was incredible, and the film I enjoyed so much.
It was a pleasure to be there, to be able to put it on, it was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing it.
And leading in many ways from the playing of that classical piece. Many of the critics that I read on Yes music always say that Yes are a band of perfectionists, in the sense that you're all a bit too much of a perfectionist about the music that you make. Do you agree with that?
Well, up to a point, we try to put our music together as honest as we can, and if we are a little strict with ourselves, we hope that people will understand that that it's not a fault. I don't think so, anyway.
I personally don't think so either, actually.
There are obviously times when we feel that we've over a period of 5 albums, certain parts of albums seem to be ultra tight, if you like. And it's just a question of balance and development. It's taken us a long time to settle down. Now we feel that the next album, which we're doing now, is added funk from all of us, not just from Alan, who is a marvellous drummer and a marvellous person. It's helped with getting Alan in the band. It helped us to understand a little more about each other, and a lot of air has been cleared as far as recording techniques and arrangements of music, and we are getting more involved in arrangements. I think we'll always arrange our music, but we will pose problems for ourselves so that we can develop as musicians.
Right.
I think that's the best way we can do it.
How much care goes into the production of the album? Because Eddie Offord's production is superb. I think particularly, it shows up so well on the Yes album, for example.
Yeah, that was the first time that we could sit back and do it ourselves. The first 2 weeks we really didn't know if we could get it together, but after a couple of weeks we started sitting back and saying, well, it's coming together okay. So we developed the album, and it became apparent that we could produce ourselves, and it'll take time before people that just don't automatically accept what we're doing, time for them to realise that we're still learning about our side of the music, our side of production. We're not heavy people. We don't know so much about everything. We're just trying very hard to develop our music and the sound. The next album we're doing, hopefully, in quadrophonic, which is a new development. 3 years ago people said quadrophonic wasn't really on, I think, at one time. But I think it's developing that a quadrophonic album becomes a better stereo album, actually. The quadrophonic albums that I've got sound incredible in stereo. I mean, in quadrophonic they must sound amazing, because I haven't got a quadrophonic setup yet, but I soon will do. Because
it seems to me that Yes, for me at any rate, I mean, there are certain bands that and solo performers and artists generally who are very much involved with the dynamics of music. I mean, I'm thinking very much in the studio of people like Stevie Wonder, for example.
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin, I
excellent.
think, are very much into dynamics.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And yourselves too. And I think that's, I personally think that's a very important part of the development of rock music, is the way one uses the studio.
Techniques.
Right.
The techniques are there. It's funny that we were in America last month, and the best studio in the world is a film studio, recording studio where they make film music. And it seems that there's so much spent on films that they have to have the best studio, and they have the most incredible studio for making soundtracks and things like that. I feel that at the moment the studios haven't developed as much as rock music has developed over the last 3 or 4 years. That is why a lot of people are springing out trying to build their own studios, as we are this year. We're trying to get a studio together of our own, because we felt a lack of interest from the side that does make a lot of money out of rock and roll, which is the record companies and the studios in London. You know, they are very good studios. I'm not knocking all studios, but there isn't very much development. Younger producers, Eddie offered, you know, they feel kind of cooped up in a way, so they have to spread out and try different ideas. But when you see like incredible studios in a mammoth Hollywood situation, you know, really good studios, it's time that better studios were built for young musicians. You know, we've learnt from, say, the classical music and from rock and roll, from the Beatles, the Beach Boys and so on, and people are going to learn music through us as well, now that people are listening a lot to our music and other people. And I can imagine young kids of about 15, 16 just picking up instruments in the next 5 years, really coming up with some incredible music. And the facilities aren't really there. It's a shame. Yeah.
Let's listen to some Beach Boys music, shall we, John? Because you brought Surf's Up in with you, and I admire Brian Wilson very much myself.
Marvellous.
Yeah, let's listen to Surf's Up. The Beach Boys, and the title track from their superb album, Surf's Up, almost bringing us to the end of the programme too, John. So just one more record.
Right, my favourite. It's my favourite single. We were talking about production and things like that, that it all comes down, whatever happens, it all comes down to the performance, and I think this is one of the best performances on a single I've ever heard from a lady. Beautiful.
This is Lorraine Ellison, and Stay With Me Baby. Oh, it's a real shame to have to fade it, John. I'm sorry, but we're almost at the end of the programme. Lorraine Ellison and Stay With Me Baby. John, thanks for coming in to see us.
Thank you for inviting me. It really has been nice.
Have a good holiday, and too, I hope the recordings go well when they start.
Thank you.
All right, then. And that really is just about the end of the programme, sadly. Southern Comfort, John Martin and Kevin Ayres to thank for their session music tonight. And as always, of course, my producer Pete Ritzema and Jon Anderson for coming in and speaking with us. Tomorrow night on Top Gear, Faust, the Chieftains and Colin Blunston will be John Peel's guests. And next week on the Monday programme, among other session people, there'll be Alan Stivell and Home. Radio 1's now closing down to be opened up again at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning with Noel Edmonds. And I'll see you again tomorrow night on Whistle Test. Until then, from me, Bob Harris. Bye-bye.